I think the gender swap thing, as I said in the group chat, to me speaks to. I'll give a little bit of grace first. To be fair, as much as we like the designs of Cyrax and Sector and whatever the case may be, they haven't been given the most backstory in the Mortal Kombat universe, right? Like, it's not like I'm like, no, not Cyrax, not this in-depth ninja with all this back lore. And like, to be fair, like they've always kind of been the sideline characters in the Lin Kuei compared to everybody else in the Lin Kuei, right? So we're not losing like decades of interesting lore by making this character a woman now. I think my issue kind of goes back to what I said in the group chat of like, what are we hoping to accomplish with this, right? How does making this woman Cyrax any different from when you guys made Chameleon? How is it any different from what you did and didn't do with Frost? You have these interesting concepts of like, here is this woman version of this character. Okay, like I said in the group chat, y'all know me. I'm the one who will purposely pick the woman protagonist if I have the option in an action adventure game. I just think it's always interesting seeing a quote unquote weaker character take on typically stronger characters. I find that, it's always something that's always like caught my eye when it comes to action style games. It's like seeing how they use their weakness into a strength, right? So I'm like, I'm down for that whole regards of like, yeah, make a woman character. I don't care. When that happens, I'm just like, what's the bigger goal here other than just saying like, yeah, we're just making them a woman now, right? I'm like, because where's Chameleon now? She's a cameo character who does what? Mimic other woman characters, right? We've had this whole entire time of years and years and years to bring back this character to do what? Make her a sideline character as you reintroduce Reptile the male, right? So for me, it's just like, okay, I'm not against it. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have more women characters, but what are we looking to do with this? Are we going to do something significant? Is this character, like you said, what is the long game of this character? We had this whole thing in story mode where we showed a woman version of Johnny Cage. She's in a cutscene in story mode. She's a cameo in the game, and nobody cares. Because like you said in the chat, just give us Cassie Cage. We liked Cassie. It was fine. She was the successor to the Johnny Cage lineage and the Johnny Cage persona that we wanted. A little mixture of Sonya where she could be serious where she needed to, but had like the campiness over the top of Johnny Cage. And we like that character. Like you said in the chat, Jackie Briggs, a successor to Jax. A faster version, still uses the mechanical upgrades in a more like modern day way, just more than just cybernetic arms. She uses cybernetic enhancements while still being mostly human. We like Jackie. Jackie was great, right? So I'm like, we have these characters that have been natural evolutions, quote unquote gender swapped and all of that. Like, man, like these successor characters seem to be really dope. I hope they do really cool things with them. But instead, it's just like, here is Cyrax, because Cyrax is just a name and anyone could be Cyrax, right? Or how we're about to talk about Suicide Squad, where it's like Mrs. Freeze. It's like, fam, why is the precedent for these established characters is let's just gender swap them? Like, how is that the thing that like, this is how we breathe new life into this character? You know what I'm saying? Like, if Cyrax is just a name and not, specific to that person, just make another Cyrax, right? Like, why can't we have male and woman Cyrax? Right? I'm like, the Lin Kuei is a clan where I'm like, obviously it's made of multiple talented ninjas, right? It's like, it's not just the chosen three, right? You can make other ninjas that kind of rise in prominence, especially in a rebooted universe. Just introduce other interesting Lin Kuei. Introduce all the women Lin Kuei that you want to that have other elemental based powers.
Yeah, because apparently there was another one. His name was Hydro, where he was more like a rain-ish type of character. Like he was water and lightning. Um, yeah, so like there's other ways to do it. Like even like the whole Mrs. Freeze, I didn't like that one particular because it's like bro, you have Killer Frost right there.
Yeah.
But then I remember, oh yeah, this is a game about guns
Make a woman Captain Cold.
and skins. I was like, so like, oh yeah, like, oh yeah, or
Make a
like,
woman
yes,
Captain Cold.
yeah, or just give us Captain Cold or whatever like that, because
Yeah.
that's a Flash enemy. But it's
Yeah.
just like, even with the Suicide Squad, it's like once again, bro, like first of all, you're fighting in Metropolis, but you're just giving us all these Batman background villains when you have a rogues gallery to choose from. It's
Yeah.
like, bro, and yes, if this is the season of Ice, like, bro, there's other Ice characters you could have chose.
And that's, I think that's, again, like I said, like I think that's where my issue is, of like, I just don't. And again, right, we're doing this before the character's even been officially released. For all I know, I'll be eating my words, right, in 3 months, 4 months. The woman Cyrax could be the best version of Cyrax we have ever seen in our lives. I'm like, man, they did it. But it just, given, like you said in the beginning of the pod, right, the history of why they go these choices, it doesn't seem to be from like, I'm inspired, right? Like, I think that was the thing of, again, to your great point during the chat, of like successors, of like, this is why characters like Miles Morales works, or even Spider-Gwen works, because they take the established aspect of the character, have them kind of do their own thing while keeping the principal concept the same, without being like, here is the replacement of this known character, right? You're not like, here is Peter and Parker, the woman, like the Spider-Man we always needed. So like, here, Peter Parker can still do his thing. Spider-Gwen can still do her thing. Miles can still do his thing. And we're doing these characters with their own storylines that they don't come across like we're just pandering at this point. Mm-hmm. Right? And I think the worry that I'm seeing with a Mrs. Freeze, or even a possible woman Cyrax, I'm like, I think potentially we're doing this just because it's in this, like, well, we got to be, PC about this, right? We got to make sure everybody feels included. It's like, okay, do that with a new character, right? Like, just do that with a new character. And not for nothing, right? We see that Mortal Kombat is not necessarily the best when it comes to including characters, just because, right? I'm like, we haven't seen Kung Jin since MKX, and he was supposed to be the golden child for a certain community and never returned, right? So I'm like, what was this for? If you weren't gonna go full, like.
Well, he returned in the cameo and just got
murdered.
Killed.
Yeah, right. So I'm like, again, nothing wrong. Like, again, if you're gonna do it, that's fine. It's a new character. It's not like you're like, oh, okay, we decided that Kung Lao has now switched teams. Like, okay, you given this character that has his own lore to be established. I don't care what his like preferences are and what he does, but just expand on it if you're gonna go that way. Mm-hmm. Like, nope, we're gonna abandon it. It's like, then why did you do it? Why even bother?
Why even bother?
You're not even gonna do it, like do anything with it. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. I'm like, I guess it remains to be seen, but I in the history of gaming that I've seen in my lifetime, I've never seen gender swap for gender swap's sake work. Right? You don't see women all around the world now running to buy Mortal Kombat now that there's a woman Cyrax who looks like Master Raven with dreads and is pulling out hearts through their chest. Like, they're like, oh, finally, I see me in these games. I see me.
even to go back to Master Raven, what they did with Master Raven for Tekken 7, it was like, it's a new character. Mm-hmm. It's a new character. Yeah, they reneged the next installment.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's an entirely new character with lore aspects connected to her. Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. That's how you do it. Like you said, like, all right, so if there's space for a new character, let's introduce a new character.
Yeah.
What is wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that.